So in this video we'll be discussing, should you dress your age? So to discuss dressing your age, I'm joined by Senior Client Advisor from Savile Row, Rico. For the record, he's 22 years old. And you know me, I'm Chris, regular presenter here, and you won't believe it, I'm 54. So I think we've got a good range of ages, and we can discuss how important it is to dress your age. We often get comments, we love your comments, so please keep them coming, saying, "Oh, I can't wear that because I'm old," or they give their age in their comment. I'm X years old and I do this. So it's part of their personality, their style journey. But for me, I don't see it as that important. I think as soon as I'm an adult, I found my current look, 17, 18, and I've kind of stuck with it. How do you see it? In your trade, do you judge customers on age, or do you look at someone who's a younger person or an older person?
Do you know, not really. I think that in what I do, we try and think of the things that are timeless and the things that will stand the test of time. Because that way you have something when you are 30 that you can then wear when you're 70, especially in footwear. Because It's very easy to stick to a similar style. And there are very small nuances which aren't as prevalent with a jacket or with a tie or with a shirt. But no, I don't think that's the case.
I mean, from a commercial point of view, in tailoring, and I was involved in sort of high street ready-to-wear tailoring in certain projects I've been involved in, there is an assumption as we get older, we get bigger and our body shapes change. So if you're cutting a suit, if you're cutting a jacket and it's aimed at an older person, there's an assumption that they're going to want a bigger jacket. And if you're making a suit for prom suits for sort of 16 to 18-year-olds, they're generally cut very small on smaller size scales. So I kind of get that. In the 90s, there was a fashion for dressing quite young. I guess my generation, the Gen X's, our 20s were more like an extension of our teenage years.
Okay, yep.
So there was that whole idea of just still dressing in jeans, tracksuit tops, trainers, so dressing like a 15-year-old at 30 was kind of more of a thing. I think the main difference, the main takeaway from today would be about dressing your age is hopefully as you get older, you get more confident.
Yeah, with experience and
you
time.
realise the world doesn't really care what you wear.
Yeah.
As much as you do, not everyone's looking at you. And I think if you can wear things selflessly, it helps your personal style. And I do wear sports shoes casually.
Okay.
And I wear polo shirts.
Yep.
I certainly wouldn't try and dress like a 15-year-old, a fashionable 15-year-old, because I wouldn't know how to dress like a fashionable 15-year-old.
So how do you dress a trainer in a way that doesn't feel as if you're dressing younger than you are?
Oh, I simple. I go for that sort of vintage 30s looks. I wear grey flannels and trainers, which some people find as, we talked about this before, and I talk about mixing tailoring and sportswear, and it gets people quite angry in the comments. I can feel people writing. But if you go back to, say, Fred Perry or early cricket days, what were they wearing? They were wearing flannel trousers. So the idea of wearing sports shoes with flannel trousers. Now the sports shoes I'm wearing are more like vintage tennis shoes, like the Superga style ones, or
It's not a running trainer.
I don't wear my Asics with flannels.
With flannels, yeah.
But no, that's how I would wear it, and I wouldn't have done that at 25.
And how would you identify something that isn't for a certain age category? So for example, for me, what would you say would look out of place on me relative to my age?
Like a 3-piece bespoke suit in Savile Row.
Would never have one of those, definitely.
No, I mean you have a great style, so you could wear things. Nothing I'd put you off. But you see sometimes it's trying too hard to get that statement piece.
Okay.
So sometimes you see the younger guy in, again, I would say sometimes like the big overcoats can be a bit too much.
Yeah.
And I think they look better on me now I'm a little bit older.
I think you also, with age, will develop the experience of being able to wear something confidently and comfortably. And when you're so young, trying to have a statement piece, I think you allow the clothes to wear you.
Yeah.
And that really doesn't come across as confidently as when you've had the experience to feel comfortable in them.
So a lot of men I work with kind of find a particularly casual style, because if you've got good tailoring that does last longer, but your casual wardrobe, they kind of find a weekend wardrobe at 35 and they keep it for too long, and they rely on the going out shirt,
Yep.
the Christmas party shirt, and then the doing the chores shirt, and that can date very, very quickly. You need to be aware of what is current and just...
So with that in mind, do you think that something which is timeless but can cover all occasions is better than updating?
I'm going to challenge you. I don't think anything is timeless.
Okay.
I think everything has its time. It can look, everything is of its time because it was new. Everything was new once. But there are certain products that if they're good, if something's of a good quality and a reasonable fit and not an extreme fit, it will wear out before it goes out of style. So that's...
Yeah, which is always the best way to go around it.
Yeah. So I avoid making these rules like can't wear this over 20, don't wear this over 30, 40, 50, because it's down to your personal style and your taste and your lifestyle.
Yeah.
But some general rules, I feel the older you are, the better fit I expect. I think if I see an 18-year-old in a suit that's a little bit too tight, I'm more forgiving than if I see a 50-year-old in a suit that's a bit too tight.
And what do you look for something to be well or ill fit?
Well, avoiding extremes, I think.
Okay.
Again, so it's that overly tight, overly baggy, overly long. It's just I'm not looking for. There's a huge range of how a suit should fit, but within the parameters, I would expect avoiding extremities. Still can be stylish.
Yep.
But no, I think that's an important point. Other things, again, I tell my interesting as you get older, is as you get older and you age, and I'm feeling this now because I am in my 50s, what I tend to do more now than I did when I was younger is to keep my neck covered. That's why I really enjoy wearing roll necks and neckerchiefs, because it flatters me because it covers my aging neck. I also tend to, for filming, I tend to wear glasses which are quite thicker with slight tints in them, because again, it covers the eyes.
Okay.
And I think if you look at how Cary Grant aged as he got older, he started to wear thicker frames.
Well, that's okay.
And and as your hairline sort of gets a bit further back, having the accessories around the face, you kind of need the accessories.
Okay, so instead of concealing, it's to have another feature. And I suppose
so that's why I keep a beard.
Okay.
I wear glasses most of the time,
Yep.
and I wear cravats because I just feel my face needs the accessories. It needs a bit of help.
Okay.
That's general rules I give older customers on grooming and presentation. But other than that, that's just age. So Rico, anything you see on older guys you think is particularly good or bad?
I mean, of course, presenting well is always a nice, taking care of yourself, nice accessories that complement your features. One thing I think of in particular that isn't so flattering is a very narrow, short trouser.
Sure.
I think that at any age doesn't look right, but especially as somebody ages, it's sort of counterproductive in terms of what it will do to flatter.
No, I get that. Yeah, because I think if you're young and you're slim and you can kind of carry it off, but as you get older,
it's easier
hard.
to.
Yeah,
doesn't mean it's right.
No, sure. Conversely, if I see an older person doing something a bit quirkier, I'm thinking we must know better. He's doing that because he knows it's different.
Another thing that I think doesn't look quite matched, or looks mismatched, to put it differently, is to have a jacket and trousers that are vastly different in terms of sheens and textures. So a very shiny, perhaps a work jacket with your jeans and trainers on the weekend, I think looks very unconsidered. As if you've left the house and just put your work jacket on.
Yeah, we're not seeing it so much now, but I think that was my generation, so sorry about that. We still do it at airports. It's still my favourite airport look. It's like, I don't want to crease my shiny jacket, so I'm going to wear my jeans, and it's like, there are better, if you want to wear your suit jacket and pack your trousers, get a navy fresco.
Recognising small bits of wear on clothing is another important thing as well.
Okay.
I think that before it gets worn out, you have the opportunity to take care of something so that it looks more worn in. For example, a good pair of shoes will always look much more charming, and I'm sure you'll agree with this, 30 years down the line, so long as they're taken care of well by creaming, polishing and keeping trees in them, rather than a pair of shoes that have just been worn for 5 years and having no care taken.
Absolutely. That's the advantage about being older, is that I do have shoes which are older than you, significantly older than you.
Yeah.
I've got shoes I bought from 92, 93 I still wear.
Okay, yeah.
If you manage to keep your shape, maintain your build, you do build up your own archive, and you can start wearing, as I call it, I'll wear my own vintage.
Absolutely, you create it, you wear it.
So my advice to the older gentlemen, I'm thinking the guys in the sort of 40s and 50s and above, is try not to get stuck in a rut and almost like giving up a little bit.
Yeah.
Particularly I see this in their casual wear where they have their casual jumper, their casual trousers, and they sometimes cling to a pair of trainers they had in their 30s.
Yeah.
And the style doesn't look quite as cool on them as they once did.
Yeah, completely.
So I think, you can still upgrade your wardrobe and be age appropriate and youthful in your style without spending a huge amount of money. Just like we say for our tailored wardrobes, a few well-chosen pieces are better than a dozen cheap polo shirts.
I think also just updating how you might dress. It doesn't mean getting new pieces necessarily, but maybe pairing different shirts with polos and trousers, etc. I think the fact that you're constantly trying new things is also youthful. Maybe not just visually, but keeps you feeling young and like you're discovering your style again.
Well, I hope you found that interesting. Did you agree with our points? Are there items of clothing you shouldn't wear after a certain age? Put it in the comments below and hit that subscribe button.